Govinda, Govinda.
Shri Guru Garanga Radha Sham Sundar Giridhari Ju giving their darshan to everyone in our little temple room.
Yeah, seeing on the screen and live this time.
Yes. Okay, so without further ado, we would like to ask Srila Madhusudan Maharaj to give us some Krishna Katha, some Hari Katha for our benefit. And if anyone has any questions for Maharaj, that would also be very good. And we will just admitting people here. Just pass the microphone over to Maharaj now. Thank you, Maharaj.
Well, dear devotees, we are looking and happily seeing you all here. It's easier for me to see here on the little screen, actually. And all the way from Brazil, our devotees from Ireland, from Florida, from South Africa, from Salt Lake City, from Ukraine, from here, and Dennis in who was visiting the West London temple just now, also with us, and our South African devotees, Brindavaneshwari Devidasi and Parama Bhakti Didi. And I saw Leelamoy, yes, Leelamoy Prabhu, and West London also, Pandita Rasamoy Pandita Devidasi, Lynn from the United States, and Chaitanya Jyoti Prabhu from England. Oh, Chandra Jyoti from Chandra Jyoti.
From Brazil, Maharaj.
From Brazil. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Chandra Jyoti from Brazil. And Udaran Prabhu in Riga or Resigne, I'm not quite sure, in Latvia. So welcome to everybody. So we are with Devashis Prabhu, and Devashis Prabhu is you can turn the camera a little bit to show Devashis. Devashis Prabhu is a cameraman, so he's purposely hiding himself a little. Okay, so here's Devashis Prabhu, and Vijay Krishna Prabhu is in the screen with us here with the striped shirt. And this young gentleman behind me is Hari Gopal Prabhu. Rupak. Oh, Rupak is hiding also. He's not the cameraman, but he's hiding behind Devashis Prabhu. Okay, here is Rupak, and the Italian devotees know him. But there are no Italian devotees here. Why? Because they'll be doing their evening program, no doubt. All right, so Devashis Prabhu is a storehouse of all sorts of information we don't even know he has, but little bits slip out now and again. And so I have a question for Devashis Prabhu, because he pointed out to a devotee recently that about arati, because Devashis Prabhu was trained really in Navadip. I mean, really he was trained by a good pujari, and he can give a little of that history with the names that elderly, not brahmachari, but white clad, the Advaita Das Babaji, who we were with in Navadip actually for quite some time, and Advaita Das Babaji, very pucker personality. But Devashis Prabhu can say a little bit, is my request, that he can say a bit about how he learnt about puja. And one question or one notice, one observation he made recently is that when we are doing the ki jai, the various ki jai prayers after the arti and after many things, then who calls out ki jai? They should say the jai also. So my question to Devashis Prabhu is just to explain for us all what we're meaning when we are saying such and such ki jai, and why the person who is calling the keys doesn't just stop at ki and wait for a response of jai, because it's good for us all to know, because we hear this in different places. So I'm passing the microphone back to Devashis Prabhu, and maybe we can, with our with our experience in Italy, share a little bit with Devashis Prabhu about microphones with 2 microphones. Then that, no, it really, there's in Italy, they use 2 microphones very successfully on a cable basis. And we have the model, because I also got one, but I didn't bring it. It'll be useful for him. Jai Devashis Prabhu ki. Jai. Ki Jai. Oh, yeah. I made a mistake. You see, the student, we have to follow what we are taught, right?
Yeah, so I mean, basically the answer to that is that you're just saying half the jai. If you just say ki, it's not like we're saying hip hip, hooray, and everyone responds hooray. It's not that. We're saying all glories to them, but we're not just saying all or what and waiting for everyone to respond. All glories. You have to say the whole thing. Guru Gauranga Radha Shyamasundar ki jai, and everyone says jai, but not just ki, because that's only half the call. The actual call is ki jai. So not hip hip, hooray, everyone responds, but the whole thing we need to say. Anyway, but yes, I mean, when their lordships, Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Shyamasundar were installed in London, of course, first of all, I had some experience as a pujari before in my service in ISKCON. So then, but I know, and we all knew from our time in Navadvip, that at Guru Maharaj's standard is something different, a little bit different to the ISKCON standard. And that is why, because this is the standard established by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So in his time, and followed by his followers in the various mosques all over the world. So first of all, just want to say that, you know, for a couple of times, just recently, we've been asked the question, why is it, first of all, that on your altars and the altars in the Gaudiya Math temples generally, we see Radha Govinda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and not Nityananda Prabhu. And some saying, why you are not giving worship to Nityananda Prabhu, only to Mahaprabhu? So first of all, I just wanted to clarify that point, that of course, we don't just worship Mahaprabhu without Nityananda Prabhu, but what has been established by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is completely purposeful. It is not just a haphazard combination of worship, but rather it is purposeful. And sorry, we just seem to have lost our don't know where that's gone. Yes, sorry. I don't know why we have
The connection dropped.
Okay, anyway, so and I mean, recently also, not recently, but within a few years, somebody asked me, it was very nice you have Radha and Krishna in your temple, but why you don't also have some representation of Lord Jesus, some representation of Muhammad, or, you know, like more inclusive, comprehensive type of worship to include everybody. But first of all, our line is not that. We are very exclusive in our worship, because what Mahaprabhu has given, that is the very highest thing, and everything else is going towards that, if you like. Every other religious conception, that is our belief, our understanding. from our gurus. But it is not that that randomly we put Radha and Krishna and then Lord Chaitanya next to Radha and Krishna and made some omission by excluding Nityananda Prabhu from there. But we understand, firstly, that this worship of Radha and Krishna with Mahaprabhu is to show the highest conception of divinity as revealed by Sri Chaitanya Dev to Ramananda Rai during their conversation, which is recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita as the Ramananda Samvad. And there we understand that Mahaprabhu showed that he is the combined form of Radha and Govinda. So our worship of Mahaprabhu with Radha and Krishna together is that Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahiyanya. That Mahaprabhu is the combined form of Radha and Govinda. So what we are showing in our worship is the revelation of Ramananda Rai, to Ramananda Rai, through Ramananda Rai to the world of the highest conception of the manifestation of divinity in the world. And that is not to neglect in any way Nityananda Prabhu or his contribution. But if we can understand that Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, then when Radha and Krishna are together, Balaram does not come within their immediate circle because he is older brother of Krishna, and the older brother of Krishna will not come when Krishna is engaging in some intimate pastime with Srimati Radharani. That's known as Rasabhas. So we understand from Srila Guru Maharaj in the line of Saraswati Thakur that if we are to worship Radha and Krishna with Mahaprabhu, then Balaram's representation as Nityananda Prabhu, that will be Rasabhas. And if we want to worship Gaura Nitai with Radha and Krishna, then some screen or separate altar must be there. They must be worshipped on a separate altar, or if there's only one altar, a screen between Nityananda and Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna. It is a different form of worship. So, but in the line of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the highest conception shown by Saraswati Thakur in our worshipping form is Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahiyanya, that Mahaprabhu, he is the combined form of Radha and Govinda together. So this understanding is fundamental to our line, the teaching of our line of Saraswati Thakur, and Srila Guru Maharaj established this in his temples with Chaitanya Saraswat Math, which he considered to be the place of where the perfect conclusions and teachings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur will be represented. So that is the first thing. So anyhow, by the desire of Srila Guru Maharaj, their lordships, Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Shyamasundar, were installed in London in the only temple in the time of Srila Guru Maharaj outside of Navadvip, which was called Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. Even the other branches in India did not go by the title of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. They were Sri Krishna Chaitanya Saraswat Krishnanushilanam Sangha. But Chaitanya Saraswat Math exclusively Guru Maharaj's place of worship in Navadvip. But because his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, wanted him to preach in London specifically, then he considered London his place of service. And so on his inspiration and his order and his gracious grant, then Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Shyamasundar were installed in the London Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And as Guru Maharaj told London, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, London chapter. And actually in the letter we received from Guru Maharaj, this was his instruction. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, London chapter. And he said, I consider my London Math to be another room in my Navadvip Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. So they were installed here in 1985. And at that time, because I was previously a pujari during my service time in ISKCON, I was chosen to be, by default, I suppose, because there wasn't anybody else, the pujari, the first pujari. And because of that, I was sent to Navadvip to learn how to do that puja to the standard that was established by Guru Maharaj, following in the line of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And when I went there, of course, the morning that I was to begin my training, then Srila Guru Maharaj told me, then at that time there were mainly two pujaris. One was Advaita Das Babaji, who was very elderly but very learned devotee in many ways. And the other was Prapana Krishna Brahmachari. And Advaita Das Babaji, he didn't speak English pretty much at all, nothing. Hello, maybe, hello. But Tirtha, Bhakti Prapana Tirtha Maharaj, who was then Prapana Krishna Brahmachari, his English was good. And so Guru Maharaj said, he will teach you how to do the puja. And so I was, getting myself ready, putting my tilak on and rolling up my sleeves and getting ready to, as I thought, go on the altar there in Navadvip Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And then very quickly, I was, told, no, that is impossible. It is not possible that any Western devotee will go on the altar in Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And I was, a little bit crestfallen, let's say, a little bit crestfallen. I'm thinking, they're thinking I'm just a malecha, or, I'm not fit for that or something. And Srila Govinda Maharaj, he noticed that I was feeling a little bit, out of sorts as a result of that, Then he said to me, Prabhu, please understand, not even I am going generally on the altar in Navadvip. First of all, because Lakshmi Varaha Deva are there, and their worship must be done by a lifelong brahmachari. That is first thing. And, and secondly, if the local people hear that a white man, a foreigner, is doing the worship at the Chaitanya Saraswat Math on the altar, they'll come with a mob to the gate. And so for the peace of the local community, Guru Maharaj is not allowing that. But it is not any, reflection on you or who you are or anything like that, but just for the peace of the local community. And not only that, we can say that Guru Maharaj, he fully supported that in the countries outside of India, that the ladies also can do the worship of the deity in the temple there. He fully supported that. But in India, because it is not the custom, it is not the accepted standard over there, then Guru Maharaj, not to rock the boat, so to say, he didn't change that in his moths in India. But in the West, no problem with that whatsoever. So anyway, rather than going on the altar in Navadvip, I went with Prapana Krishna Brahmachari to his room, and there he had a blackboard and some chalk, and he drew stick Mahaprabhu and stick Radha and stick Krishna, and this way he taught me how to do their worship on a blackboard with stick men representations of the Lord. So anyway, this way I learned and made many notes at that time. I did, more or less, that was what I did. I made notes of everything he told me. And then later, together with Sripad Tyagi Maharaj, we made a manual for that worship based more or less mainly on those notes that I'd taken all those years ago. And I also returned to London and began their worship. But even our worship is something abbreviated or simplified from the worship that they do in Navadvip. That is like very comprehensive, and for most of us, like beyond our capability to do that. Honestly, it's really so involved. But the essential parts of that we took, and was agreed, and with Guru Maharaj agreed that this will be the method for our worship in the Western countries, and we established that first in London, and then eventually that standard has been accepted around the world, most places. Some temples doing their own way, but generally that standard established by Srila Guru Maharaj, we've tried to extend that to the different temples around the world, and adjusting that according to the deity that's installed there. Some places the deity is Gaur-Nitai, and some places the deity may be Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra in some instances. But generally in our mission, in our main centers, at least we can say the worship is Radha Govinda and Mahaprabhu together. So we've tried to maintain that worship, and we've trained all the devotees here in London how to follow that procedure. And this is how I learned from Srila Guru Maharaj in Navadvip back in 1985, and then returned to London to do that worship. And now I'm not doing so much. Now our Pujari Dwarakesh Prabhu, he's doing mainly everything, and as he did for so many years. And Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, when he was here once, he said, Dwarakesh Prabhu, he is a pure devotee of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Sham Sundar. So we're very happy that he's doing that service, like stalwart service, continuing that service every day. So maybe if anyone has some question about that, or about what I've said, or then you know, we can try and answer if anyone has some question about that, or about anything. Actually, we have Madhusudan Maharaj with us, so we're very fortunate in that respect. We can ask Maharaj something if anyone has some question.
The chief Pujari just now is just behind us here. If we tip up the camera a little bit, or if he bows down to the devotees, then everyone well, this is Dwarakesh Prabhu. He's the head Pujari here in East London, and you've just been hearing the descriptions and glorification from Devashis Prabhu about his seva. So wonderful. Happy that you can meet him. He's very humble. So we are in the London map. This temple here is described by some as mystic, and actually I can touch the wall here on this side, and I can touch Devashish's knee, and he with his elbow can touch the wall on the other side. That gives you an idea of how wide the temple room is. And lengthwise, well, probably the public area is two fully extended arms of two long-armed persons, maybe.
Maybe a little more.
Maybe a little more than that, but not three. Two plus extended arms all the way through. And then there's a section of the deities that you see in another window with the deity shown there. But this temple room, Srila Gurudev himself came on several occasions, gave class, attended the aratis. And I think again we should come back to Devashis Prabhu and just tell us something about this temple room, where Gurudev sat, and some of the Leela of how mystically, so many devotees would come in here and be in the corridor, and everyone would come to hear Gurudev and have his darshan.
Yes, Maharaj, actually, it is quite mystical when Gurudev was here, and everybody remembers that you know, many devotees would come and see Gurudev. That the temple was actually full to bursting. I mean, literally full to bursting. And some of the devotees would have to wait outside in the street to even get through the door. I mean, really, it was crazy. And Srila Gurudev used to sit upstairs in the front room and give darshan to all the devotees there. And we would try to manage the devotees by asking them, please, you've been here an hour. Now, please allow someone else to come and hear from Gurudev, see Gurudev like this, you know. And generally the devotees would oblige, but some of them were like, no, I'm not moving. I'm here. And like, I'm not going anywhere. So sometimes it was a little bit difficult, but generally very gracious the devotees were, and very tolerant. And many of when Gurudev used to travel, he would come with, you know, various sadhu, sannyasi associates would come with him. And to our eternal shame, sometimes they would have to use the public toilets down the road to be able to go to the bathroom, and because we couldn't facilitate everybody. Now we've just recently, in the last few years, by the grace of the community, we've raised another floor and installed another bathroom, and you know, things are a little, but in the time of Gurudev, it was almost an impossible situation. But somehow everybody came and everybody was nourished and happy, and very Gurudev also very happy. 24 times he came and stayed in this temple during his world tours. He had 24 world tours, but he didn't come here every world tour, but he did come. Sometimes he came on the way, the first stop or the second stop, and then on the way back to India. So sometimes twice he would come to London during his world tour and stay with us. So in this way, we calculated, we saw that he actually came to London 24 times during his travels around the world. And really he considered, of all of the temples in the world, that this small temple was Guru Maharaj's temple. And that he would say that I am in my Guru Maharaj's temple. And therefore we were very careful to try to maintain the standard that was expected of Guru Maharaj's temple, as it was or is in Navadvip. We try to maintain that as much as possible by us in our own, you know, imperfect way. The same standard as in Navadvip. What Guru Maharaj would allow there, we would do, and what he wouldn't allow there, we would not do. And Gurudev was happy with that. And actually, Gurudev, he was, when he gave me charge here in 2000, the year 2000, then the first thing that I did, more or less the first thing that I did, was within a year, we paid off the outstanding mortgage on the property. And Gurudev was very happy about that. And he said, now this is our own property, the home of Guru Gauranga Radha Shama Sundar, and it may be big or it may be small, and it is small. He said, we do not care, that we do not care, that is not our criteria. Our only criteria is that it will be 100% Srila Guru Maharaj. That only the conception of Srila Guru Maharaj will be preached and practiced from here. Then I am happy, he would say, like that. So we try our best, to our best ability, to do that. But he did say, on many occasions. My only difficulty is that it is too small for our devotees. And we need a much bigger place where at least 200 devotees can come and do Sankirtan happily together. And so by the grace of, and the hard work, it has to be said, very hard work and sacrifice of all of our devotees in the UK, then our new center manifested in the West London Mart, Greville House, near to Heathrow Airport, which was also miraculously what Srila Gurudev wanted, that there would be a temple near to the airport, and preferably Heathrow Airport, being the main London airport, where the devotees could transit on their way wherever they were going, as London being a hub around the world. And that center was established by the hard work and sacrifice of the devotees, and the papers signed for that temple. You can say the temple fully became our temple, that property, on the very day of Srila Gurudev's departure from the world. And so we considered that his desire fulfilled. He can leave and join Guru Maharaj in the eternal realm. So miraculous, this temple miraculous, our new temple in West London also miraculous. And there, all the devotees there, headed by Saraswati Didi, they're doing so much wonderful service and maintaining the standard of Guru Maharaj's mission, and very exclusively showing the line of Srila Guru Maharaj in following the example of our Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj. So we think that very happily, harmoniously, we are proceeding, and Gurudev and Guru Maharaj are both happy with us. We think so. So, Maharaj, then a little history I gave. I think.
Okay, with our one microphone. Then this is the London broadcast, and we are live in East London. But in West London, we have a surprise and happy visitor who was a resident there, but had to go from London for visa purposes and now lives in Spain. And yes, Saraswati is turning around, looking at Mahamantra Prabhu. And Mahamantra is another storehouse of actual experience in Krishna consciousness. He's able to share many things. He served very nicely in Navadip in the presence of Gurudev after Gurudev's disappearance, and he's always serving with his heart and soul. And also Shyama Sundari is with us too in Spain. She's keeping an eye on Mahamantra, his Shyama Sundari, his wife. But Mahamantra, please, if we can ask you to say a few words. Your first time back in the West London temple for a long time, and also, like miraculously, amazingly, you were able to come, given that the visa, etc., just 2 days before the recent festival. So if we could, please let us hear from Mahamantra Prabhu.
Maharaj.
Wait. Oops. We need something better than lip reading and sign language. You can be like Mahananda, describing the songs as we sing them. Kripa Bindudiya, etc. No sound. Hare Krishna, Krishna. It gives us an opportunity to chant the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, we've chanted the Maha Mantra. Now Maha Mantra Das. Prabhu is here to say a few words.
Okay, well, Maharaj,
Louder.
I don't think you're representing.
Prabhu, we cannot hear you. Come close to the microphone.
Can you hear now, Maharaj?
Yes, but we want to see you too.
Okay, all I can say, Maharaj, is that this last time, as you said, was a miracle, and I also feel it that way. And I felt in my stomach the same butterflies that I was feeling my first time going to Navadvip. Although I was here before, 2 years serving under the guidance of Lavanya did it, and the senior devotees here, I was extremely feeling a feeling of blessings coming towards me to be joining a festival where Your Holiness will be present, as well as Vishaka Devi. So I cannot say so much, Maharaj. My practice in life is not up to the standard of a proper standard. But what I can say is that I feel very blessed, and I also want to make emphasis that the day yesterday when we were in East London, when we were in East London, I appreciated very much to hear the glorification of the Vaishnavas from Vishaka, from Devashis Prabhu, because when Vishaka was speaking about her time in Navadvip serving under your guidance, I was able to witness many of the things she said. I witnessed with my own eyes the so much dedication coming from devotees and Vaishnavas such as yourself, Vishaka Didi, and others that were present there serving the mission after Gurudev left the world. So I may not have done a big service for the mission, but one thing I have seen is others, how much others, such as yourself, Maharaj, have surrendered your life for the teachings and the mission of Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. And then for someone like me, so small, I feel extremely blessed, extremely fortunate to have any tiny small connection with personalities that serve such a big personality as Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj. So yes, that's what I can say, Maharaj, that this very visit of mine coming to London this time felt like my first time coming to India to serve. The same happiness, the same emotion came to me, feeling that I'm going to be again reunited with the devotees after so long, because of COVID, because of visa, because of passport, because of lack of work, etc. Finally, everything was aligned for me to be here and visit and try to do something for the devotees. And it's all by the grace of the devotees, actually, by the desire that and the opportunity that they are offering for someone as fallen as me to be here in such a beautiful and devotional place as this one. It's remembering what Prabhu Devashis was also telling recently about the standard of the pujaris in Navadvip. I always felt like that one coming from the West doesn't have some the purity of someone, a lifelong brahmachari that is able to enter in the temple, but by the affectionate grace of someone like you. For example, I remember once you allowed me to, one of my first services in Navadvip, was to clean Guru Maharaj's veranda. And you yourself, Maharaj, told me, oh, Prabhu, can you please just give a quick broom in the corners of the veranda of Guru Maharaj. Here are the keys. And I got the keys. I went up to the front of the Guru Maharaj veranda. I opened the lock, and it was my first time in such a holy place where I have seen so many videos and lectures of Guru Maharaj sitting in his bed at the end of the veranda, and I could not feel more blessed that someone like me was able to enter in such a divine place. And that was reminded by what Prabhu Devashis said, and it's all great. It's all coming from above. It's all coming from dedicated devotees that give the opportunity to someone that is not dedicated at all. So it reminds me to those verses that says that the Vaishnavas are an ocean of mercy, and they extend themselves to the lowest. And I am an example of that, Maharaj. I am an example of how the grace of the Vaishnavas, how the mercy of the Vaishnavas have extended itself towards someone as low as myself. So that's all I can say, Maharaj. I am extremely grateful to be here. I'm feeling extremely blessed to be on your association, now on your association via Zoom, but I hope you keep pouring your mercy towards all of us, your grace, and allow us to keep doing whatever you think is necessary for our spiritual life. Dandavad.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Jai Mahamantra Prabhu ki Jai. But Mahamantra Prabhu, you gave us a little teaser. You gave us just a tiny taste of your going to Guru Maharaj's veranda. Please come close again to the microphone and tell us, just describe Guru Maharaj's veranda from your heart. It doesn't have to be, it can be physical description, but you took us there just now. And I have to say that you took me to Guru Maharaj's veranda just now.
Yeah, well, maybe Prabhu Devashis can recall the verse. In front recently, we were seeing some photos of the veranda, and right in top of the entrance, there is this verse of Sri Gauranumatam Swarupa Viditam, and I believe is ultimately a glorification to Bhaktivinoda Thakur from Srila Saraswati Thakur. Am I right, Prabhu?
We'd have to do some homework to be able to say yes or no.
Well, but anyway, later I learned. Of course, I didn't know how to read Bengali at the time, so later on I asked, and I learned that that was a verse that Srila Govinda Maharaj placed in front of Guru Maharaj's veranda, because Srila Guru Maharaj liked it very much. And I start like that. She Gauranumatam Swarupa Viditam, and it keeps going from that the conception of Gauranga was first grasped by Swarup Damodar, and then it started going from different Goswamis, and then passed through the Jiva Goswami protected that conception and ends up in the line of, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the one that distributed that in the modern world. So I'm saying this that just the sloka there make a big impression on me. But as soon as I entered, I was just so very much charmed by the simplicity of the veranda itself. Everything was, the floor is red, it's like polished, like cement, red color, and seeing so many photos of the time of Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Guru Maharaj, I could sense how much simple was the life in the mat at the time. And I also had the opportunity to enter to his, what will be his personal room, and even his personal bathroom with a little toilet. And again, like such a exalted Vaishnava with the highest conception given in this world, he was living in the most simple way, and that really touched my heart to see like how come such a great personality can live in the most simple and beautiful way. And the view is just next to the domes of the temple, so the whole environment it feels completely like spiritual, like divine. And I just recall those things, how beautiful and how simple, and actually it was already clean. My thought at the time that it was your grace to allow me to go just to see, because there was nothing to clean. I ended up spending 2 hours polishing the floor again with water and a piece of cloth, but there was nothing to clean. I realized, oh, Maharaj is so merciful that he just allowed me to see this, where this place where this pastime happened. And that's just, again, taking back to the idea that we are nothing without the grace of the devotees, without the seva opportunities from the seva opportunities from the devotees. Where will we be? Where are we at? We cannot do anything if we are not in connection with those devotees who are connected with the higher devotees. So yes, Maharaj, what can I say?
Perhaps we gave you that savor opportunity so that 14 years later you can remind us of Guru Maharaj's veranda while we're all seated here in London. But Guru Maharaj's veranda, it is the purest of purest places, because it has nothing to do with this world in one sense, and really pure. But then we hear about liberation, usually is what people want from this world. We want to be liberated from all the things of this world. But so you can say the first kind of purity is nothing to do with this world. But Guru Maharaj's veranda is the purest of the pure, because it's the positive aspect and the things, the conceptions, and not just philosophy. It is the current has been distributed from there to the hearts of so many devotees. And past, present, and future, that current is flowing. And Guru Maharaj said of Navadip Chaitanya Saraswat Math that this is the source of your greatest fortune, not only now, but forever. So we must always try to treasure all aspects of Chaitanya Saraswat Math, of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, what they've given to us all. So we are all benefiting from your having gone there 14 years later, or however many months exactly, and taking us back there today. Yes, Prabhu.
I just remember one thing also about Guru Maharaj's veranda. I heard a pastime that in the opposite side of the entrance, where his bed will be, where he will give most of his darshans, basically the windows facing the Govinda Kund, in like the front of the building. I also cannot recall the verse, but the verse, one of the lines is Sango Pastra. Sango Pastra. Am I wrong? Sango Pastra Parshalam, something like the weapons of Mahaprabhu are called kartal. It's the kirtan, and Gurudev Srila Govinda Maharaj inscribed in the front, in that facade, that sloka, without the permission of Srila Guru Maharaj. He was decorating certain parts of the temple, and he decided to put that verse there because he heard it many times from Guru Maharaj. And one day in one of Guru Maharaj's walks, Guru Maharaj looked at the building and he said, who did that? Why is that there? And Srila Govinda Maharaj replied, oh, I did, Maharaj. Do you like it? It's okay. And Guru Maharaj just didn't say anything. And Srila Govinda Maharaj, feeling that Guru Maharaj was not pleased, after some months, he painted on white over the relief. The sloka was made on relief and then the letters painted. But because Guru Maharaj didn't express anything, Gurudev, after some months, decided to paint on white the sloka. So after, again, weeks after the wall was painted, Guru Maharaj, again, in one of the walks, he looked up and the sloka, he could not see the letters anymore. It was all white. And then Guru Maharaj said to Gurudev, where is my sloka? I liked it very much. So then Gurudev painted again and it's still remaining there. And this is the sloka. Sripad Maharaj put it in the first page of the small kirtan guide, and it says, Shiral Harabavedini Suvarna Varan Sangopanga Navaduipe Jar Sankirtan Kalite Upasya Sei Krishna Gaura Hari Navala Bhakti Tare Upasana Kori. Through the ninefold practice of devotion, I worship Krishna's golden avatar in Kali Yuga, Gaura Hari, who performs Sankirtan in the mood of Sri Radha with his associates in Sri Navadvip Dham. So all these things, Maharaj, I was able to witness by the grace of the devotees, by the grace of our acharyas, and I feel very in depth. Although I don't do anything for my spiritual benefit, although I don't do anything for the benefit of the mission, these things I have heard, I have seen, and I'm little by little I'm learning, and I'm trying how to become a better servitor.
Jai. And one of your very close associates, friends and consort has found the shloka that we were searching for before, Shri Gaurannumatang Swarupam Viditang Rupagrajennadritam. And this, by the way, is, she also pointed out, this is Srila Guru Maharaj has written in his Srimad Bhakti Vinod Viraha Dashakam.
Yes.
And I can read here the English translation of that, so this is a sloka you're mentioning is above the front entrance into Guru Maharaj's veranda. The English translation is, that which is the gracious gift of Sri Gaurachandra, the deep internal purport of which is known by Sri Sarup Damada, that which is adored by Sri Sanatan Goswami and distributed by the Rasa Tattva Acharyas headed by Sri Rupa Goswami, that which is tasted and enriched by Sri Raghunath Das Goswami and followers, and tenderly protected by Sri Jiva Goswami and his associates, and that which is venerated from afar by the great personalities like Mahadev, Lord of the gods, and Brahma, grandfather of the world. O wonder of wonders, that ecstatic nectar of the exclusive service of the lotus feet of Sri Radha, you hold the perfect position to mercifully give even that to us. So this is Guru Maharaj's prayer to Bhakti Vinod Thakur, saying that Bhakti Vinod Thakur can give all of this to us. Jai.
Jai.
Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshidha Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. I know we're over time, but I'll just very briefly say a word from here, because for the first time ever, I'm being honored to stay in actually the Gurudev's own room here in 466 Green Street, the temple here in East London, where he stayed so many times. And really, it's first of all, it's been renovated and looked after very nicely, just as the veranda, as we hear of Guru Maharaj, was looked after very nicely for so many years, and until now, we understand. But the room itself is so steeped with Srila Gurudev that it is something which, one-time devotees are thinking, oh, why should we keep the 466 Green Street? I mean, we heard this some time ago, but even to keep that one room as a memorial and a living place of Srila Gurudev, then we can say it is invaluable. What to speak of like the whole temple, the place where we're seated now in the temple, the deities which have been in London now, how many years? 37 years, maybe. Yeah. 37 years, the deities of Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Shyama Sundar. And I just wanted to share a little bit of the flavor from Gurudev's room here. And that was where he stayed. And the front room upstairs was the gathering room. And unfortunately, this is the first time I've come. And Ken's Cafe is not there anymore. And you may think Ken's Cafe. Yes, but Gurudev used to look out of the window and he was quite happy watching the people going in and out of Ken's Cafe, looking to see what they're eating and many things like this. So it became like a part of the paraphernalia, if you like, of the temple here. But today I was chanting japa downstairs here, and which has a similar window looking out, and we're seeing the whole world is present or represented in this one street in, I was going to say Calcutta, but in London, London. I mean, really, there's practically every nationality here. I mean, really practically every nationality. There's from all kind of different African features are here, different Asian features are here, Chinese features are here, and yes, Caucasian features are here. I mean, all kinds of personalities of the world are here. And I'm watching and I'm just feeling that they're all, like everyone's lost in a way. They've come to London leaving their traditions, or they lived in London, so they have the London tradition. But I'm trying to see like each individual person, and they may be wealthy, they may be poor, maybe many things. A white Rolls Royce came down the street, looking very smart. So obviously, some wealthy persons are around. But the whole world, what it's missing is Krishna consciousness. And even I saw there's a vacant sign right outside the door here. And I was trying to think what wording we could put in that sign. I think it used to be, it wasn't Ken's Cafe, it was some chicken shop sign maybe, but there is a vacant sign right here. And I was thinking like one world, one world, the human species, and then what the humans should do, chant Hare Krishna. All humans should chant Hare Krishna. I don't know, but somehow so representative of the world. And Gurudev would watch this street scene and comment on it and be happy to see the world passing by the window in its very varied form right here. And one thing missing from Gurudev's time too is that what was the name of the football ground? West Ham. Oh, West Ham, for those of you who know about football, Brazilians and others, then the West Ham Football Club was right here, the football ground, just opposite, diagonally opposite on the road. So whenever they had football games, tens of thousands of people come here. And so now that is missing. And by the way, that's why Ken's Cafe closed down. It didn't get the same custom. Anyway, just a little bit of the local flavor of the East London temple, but with the Gurudev remembrance and the things that Gurudev told us about in India when he came back, and the things that we hear from the devotees who were here with Gurudev in the temple. And of course, Devashis Prabhu is a mine of all kinds of pastimes that took place. Anyway, this week we've been live in East London Temple, and next week live in West London Temple. And I'll just pass the microphone to Devashish for a couple of concluding words. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you everyone for joining with us today. It's been a very great honor and pleasure to be with you all, as it always is, and especially to be with our most beloved Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj, beloved by all the Vaishnavas all over the world, and still representing Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj all over the world, very purely and very cleanly. And we can say we are all very much inspired to have his association, and we hope that that will continue for a long time. So again, thank you all very much for being with us today. And as Maharaj said, next week we will all be together from the West London Chaitanya Saraswat Math. Until then, have a very good, as Maharaj says, a savorful week, full of Krishna consciousness, and chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bhargya ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda ki Jai. Jai Kol Kartel ki Jai. Sri Harinama Sankirtan ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
All of the devotees who are with us, ki Jai, and our obeisances to you all, and wonderful to see you all all with us on the screen and in front of us here. And to those who joined a little later, our obeisances to you also, to Ajita Krishna in America, and to the other devotees who joined presently. Panchakalpatarubhyascha
Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hari Hari.